Yo, what's good with y'all? Today's video, I got the how to make Forsaken part one. This is, Forsaken, the game on Roblox. It's pretty popular right now. I've had some people ask me about it and stuff. It's like a little horror game kind of thing. I think it's similar to like Dead by Daylight, something like that and whatnot. So I was like, let me go ahead and make a little tutorial on it. It looks pretty simple. So this is gonna be part one. We're gonna be setting up, UI. We're gonna be setting like UI, the health bar, the stamina, the round system, the spawns, the teams. We're gonna be setting all that stuff up. If part one does well, we'll continue with part two and do like actual in progress round stuff, like where survivors have their abilities and all that stuff. We'll get into that in future parts if this video does well. So if you guys want a part two, all you gotta do is just show lots of love on the video, leave a like, subscribe, let me know in the comments if you want a part two. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. Okay. So first things first, let's go ahead and let's take care of some side stuff before we get into the scripting. First things first, of course, we're going to need teams, right? There are a total of 3 teams and stuff. Now, I've played Forsaken like probably twice for like 20 minutes just so I could like, do some research on it and just see like, okay, like, I play a game and then I'm just like, okay, this is what I need to recreate for the video and whatnot. So if I'm wrong about anything, please let me know in the comments. But there are 3 teams. You have your spectators, like when you join the game, whether it be you join the game and a round hasn't started, or you join the game and a round has started, you're automatically on the spectators team, right? Then you have your survivors and killers. Survivors and killers are, currently in progress. When the game is currently in progress, or a round is in progress, I should say, and stuff, right? So let's go ahead and head on over to teams. If you guys don't see teams, if you don't see the teams, then you click view. Where is it? Where's the command? I'm looking for the command thing. Where is the command thingamajig? Where is it? Command bar, yes, that. So run a command, game, get service, teams, right? Then enter. Then in the output you should see game get service teams and stuff, and then it'll retrieve the team service for you if you don't see it. Anyway, so click the plus icon, enter the team, of course. So for this first team, right, this is going to be our neutral team. So you could just say this is going to be spectators. So you're going to just call this spectators, right? And then make sure you have auto assignable checked for this, because this is the team you want the players to be auto assigned when they join the game, right? And then team colors, you can make the team color whatever you want it to be and stuff, but the colors have to be consistent with the spawns, right? And I'll get into what I mean when we get to the spawns right after this. So then you can just duplicate this, control D, right? And then of course we're gonna need to change this. So of course our second team can be the survivors, right? And then we can make their color like, I don't know, a smoky gray. And then obviously disable auto assignable. Then for our last team, this would be our killer, because there's only one killer, so we'll just say killer. Disable auto assignable, set it to red, right? Then we have our teams. Now let's go ahead and insert a remote event into replicated storage. You can rename this remote event to core event. Then we can start working on the spawns in workspace. So go to workspace, plus icon, insert a spawn location, right? Now I do want to clarify something, right? I'm gonna have the spawns like in this, like in like a little like circle, right? They're gonna be like right next to each other. Obviously in an actual like map and everything, you'd have like the survivor spawn like all the way over there, or like in the sky or something, and then you'd have like the killer spawn over here, and then like the survivor spawn like over here type thing. But I'm just gonna put them like kind of in a circle and stuff, because we're not doing any map related things, just the scripting. Okay, so obviously first you need to make sure you name everything correctly. So let's do this would be our spectator, if I spelled that right. Spectators spawn, right? Then very important, disable neutral, right? And make sure you update the team color to match the corresponding team's color, right? So this is spectator, right? Our team color is institutional white. So we need to go over here to spectator spawn, and we need to set team color to institutional white. Then I'd recommend setting the color of the spawn to also the same color. This is simply so that when you're testing stuff, you can tell like which spawn is which. So, like, okay, I'm spawning on the right. I'm spawning at the right spawn point. Then I'm just making it a little transparent. And I'm going to delete the decal inside and stuff. You guys don't necessarily have to do that, but yeah. So then we're just going to duplicate this. So you can duplicate the top or Control plus D. So I'm going to do that twice. Like I said, I'm just going to have them in like a little, like just like next to each other and stuff, right? Then obviously we need to update them. So second one will be survivors spawn, right? Now let's go look at survivors. Our color is smoky gray. That's our team color. So we'll update that to smoky gray. And also here, just that we can tell, smoky gray. Survivor spawn. And lastly, we have our killer spawn. So you'll name this to killer spawn. You can put spawns wherever you want, right? Change the color to match the team color again, red, or really red, I should say, right? That matches the team color. So bam, right? And then if you guys click play, you'll see we have the 3 teams and automatically puts me on the spectators team. And I spawn at the spectator spawn, right? So we're done with the sides. We're done with some of the side stuff. Now we need to move on to the UI, right? So head on over to starter GUI and insert a screen GUI plus icon, screen GUI, disable, reset on spawn. Rename this to core GUI, right? Let me just double check to make sure. Okay, we're good. Then you're going to want to insert a frame, right? You're going to want to rename this frame to round frame. It's going to have like our countdown at the top and everything. So you're going to want to move this frame to the top, middle. I think I did this by like, I think it was like three. No, I think it was like 200. Yeah, it was like 200 by like 60. Yeah, there was like 200 by 60, I think. So I'm gonna make the background black. I'm gonna give it like a white border. So border size pixel will be set to 2. Border color will be set to white. So something nice like that, right? Then I'm gonna insert a text label, and this will be my round text label. This is where it's gonna display like the words and stuff like, oh, round is starting soon or waiting for more players. So by default, the text, so bold text, rich text, skill text, by default, we want the text to say waiting for more players, and then we'll update this once we have enough players. Then obviously you'll set text color to white, text stroke transparency will be set to 0, text stroke color will be set to black, and then you can just make the background transparency 1, right? Then we're just gonna make this a lot smaller, so maybe like half the size, like 25, like maybe 35. Let's see, because we need room to fit our. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so waiting for more players. Then you can duplicate this, Control D, and then you're just gonna drag it under it, right? You're gonna want to rename this to countdown text label, right? This is where it's going to say like, okay, 45 seconds, it'll say 45, 44, 43, it'll count down, or it'll say like 2 minutes or 30 seconds remaining, for like the round and everything and stuff, right? So this is where we're going to display like our countdown. That is where we're going to display like what's currently in progress, whether it be waiting for more players, round starting soon, or how much time is left until, round ends and insert amount of time kind of thing. So by default, there will be no text, right? Or, by default, you could just that is the wrong thing. You could also have this by default if you wanted to and stuff. But I'll just have nothing by default. So same concept as what we did there. Only difference is this is going to be a little bit smaller, and we're going to insert a UI stroke into it, right? And then we're going to make the color white, give it a little border, trying to match the what's the word? The UI for the actual game just a little bit and stuff. So make sure it's a border, okay, and then we're going to need to set this to like 150, right? I don't think I can. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make the background transparent so that I can move it. Because the whole point is we want it to be in the middle, and then we also want to set this to like maybe 30, or no, 25 is gonna have to be 25. So we can put this like in the middle, like in between kind of thing. So like right there, then background transparency set back to 1. Then we have our UI stroke. Then we can do it like 1.5, something like that. Yeah, something like that kind of thing. Um, I might scale this up just a little so that it's not so much in the way. Like right there kind of thing. Okay, there we go. So yeah, waiting for more players, and then here we'll have our countdown text, and then test. Okay, there we go. Looks great. Okay, we're done with the round UI, and now to move on to the other UI. This is gonna take a little bit of time. So this is gonna be our info frame, right? So let's go ahead and I'm gonna just duplicate this. Mm, nah, just insert another frame. So insert another frame into the core GUI, rename this into info frame, right? So info frame. This is gonna have our health, our stamina, and our profile picture and stuff, just like the actual game. So I think I did like, what was it? 300. I think it was like 300 by 100. I believe that's what I did. Yeah, I think that's what I did. So bottom right, I mean, sorry, bottom left. Apparently I don't know directions. We're gonna make the background color black. We're gonna make it transparent. Put like halfway. I'm gonna give it a white border. So border size color, we set the white border size pixels at like 2 or nothing. No, I think I did like 5. No, definitely not 5. Okay, that is. Okay, yeah, that should be good. So something like that, right? Um, then we're gonna go ahead and insert an image label into this. So plus icon. You're gonna insert an image label. This is going to be like the headshot of the player and stuff. So of like their avatar and everything. So we're gonna need to make this a little bit smaller so that it can like kind of squeeze in. So I think 80 by 80 should work, right? And then we want to make this round, so insert a plus icon UI corner. Set the Y value to 20. The corner radius Y value, or sorry, the offset to 20, I should say. Right, we'll do it like that. Then we're gonna insert a UI stroke to give it that white border. So color will be set to white, right? Now the image label, I believe the background is supposed to be transparent. Yeah, there we go. The background transparent. So there, well, I think that's how it's supposed to be. I think that's how it's supposed to be. I'm not totally sure. We have the placeholder image. We can okay, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's best to just remove the placeholder image so you can just see how it looks. That looks pretty good. We could increase the stroke, the thickness by like 2, right? That looks pretty good. And then I can just move this over. Just okay, wrong thing. I could just move this. Oh, it's not gonna let me. Okay, hold on. Background transparency. We'll make it transparent so then I can move it over just a little bit. And then yeah, you guys could just put this like in the corner kind of thing, right? Then make it fully transparent. And then you're gonna rename this to player image label, right? It's gonna be the headshot of the player. Now we're gonna get into the stamina and health text labels. So we're gonna insert a text label into info frame. You're gonna want to rename this text label to current health text label, right? Size will be 100 by 25. It is very important, it is imperative that you guys do the same exact sizing as I'm doing. The reason for that is because you need the bars to like to scale correctly and stuff when you update them and stuff, right? So like since the player will start with 100 health and 100 stamina and stuff, then you need the X value to match that and stuff. So if you say like if your players start with like 125 health, then you need this X value to start to be changed like 125 and stuff. So I just recommend you guys use the same numbers as I use, though it's probably just easier that way. So this is going to be current health. We're going to put this at the, like top, like right here, I want to say. Should be good. And stuff we need to leave space on the right. So like right there. Wait. Yeah, I think there should be good. So we're going to make the background color for this. Since this is current, this will be red, right? For health. And then obviously clear the text. I'm going to give it a white border. So border size pixel will be equal to 2. I'm just going to give the border color will be equal to white, right? So there's our current health text label. Then we'll duplicate this, Control D, right? And then this is going to be our full health text label. So rename this to full health text label. And then the background color for this will be what was it? I think actually it was supposed to be. I think it was just black. I can't remember if it was black or not and stuff, or if it was just like a white. Probably best to do like a black. You probably best to just do like black. But anyway, cause let me see if I do it like. No, that's not gonna work. Okay. Or actually, I think we need to actually, yeah, switch names, switch names. Okay. So change current to full help text label. So I think I created it in the wrong order. Not gonna lie to y'all. So just switch the names. Current. I think I created them in the wrong order. Not gonna lie to y'all. So okay. I believe this is supposed to be like, yeah, I always get confused when it comes to this part. So this one, right? Current health. Let's see. current health. Okay, that's current health. Oh, they both have. Okay. So current health should not have a border. So set that to 0. Should not have a border, right? Current health should be red. Like the background color should be red and should not be transparent. Then full health should be like black, I believe. And then now let's see what happens now if I should move current health. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. There we go. It gets a little confusing, so if anyone's confused, here we go. Full health text label. Here are the properties for colors, sizing, and stuff. There's no text or anything, but yeah. So, and this is current health text label. Current health text label, in case anybody is confused and needed the property information for all the transparencies and everything. There we go. So when current health moves, right? Yep, there we go. And then it stays within the white box. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay. Now we can go ahead and insert the health text label, which is going to be the amount of text, or the amount of health the player has. So you could just duplicate one of them, Control D, select one of them, duplicate it. Just move it over to the side, rename this to health text label. This is going to be displayed as like the current amount of health the player has in like numerical form. So this, we need text, bold, rich text, scaled text. By default, obviously it'll be 100, out of 100, or however much the default health is, in your game. And then text color will be red with black textural color, texture transparency with it to 0. And then you can set the background. You could set the background equal. You can set the background transparency to You can set the background transparency to 1 once we move it over. Yeah, I'm probably gonna move these over. Not gonna lie. So select current health and full health, and just move it over a little because we need these to fit. So like that, and then just move it over like that. Then I should just be able to make this a little smaller. It's like 70. Then we'll just move it over. So it's like right here. And then now set the background transparency to 1. And there we go. Now we have our health. And the great thing is for stamina, all we have to do is just duplicate this. So select all 3, Control D, just drag them right under it. So like a little under it. Right? And then all we got to do is just make some changes. Okay. So make sure you're, selecting the right one, right? So, okay. So just all you got to do is switch out the names. Current health becomes current stamina text label. Full health text label becomes full stamina text label. Then the bottom health text label just becomes stamina text label, right? So for the stamina text label, we're gonna do white and black. That's the theme we're going for here. So text color will be set to white, and then text stroke will just remain the same. Still 100 out of 100. Full stamina. Full stamina. The background is, I think, still gonna be black. Yeah. Current stamina. The background color needs to be changed to white, right? And then we needed a border for it. So what I'm gonna do is I might just make it have a black border, honestly. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna just do. So I'm just change the border color to like black, I think. The reason for that is because it's already white, so you're not gonna be able to really see. So yeah. So then yep, when it moves like that, there we go. So yeah, I'll just do it like that. So yeah, just like that, we're done with the UI. Stuff we have made all our UI, stamina and health UI and everything, and we are good to go. Okay. So by default, everything will be enabled and stuff. We'll update this and everything via scripts and everything. So now we can get into actual coding, just double checking to make sure we're good. Okay. Okay. Open up starter player scripts, insert a local script, rename the script to core script in parentheses, put local, right? Delete print hello world, right? Then now we're going to get into the coding. So first, let's make a ton of variables. Create a variable for the player service. Okay, so go to game.players. Or sorry, game.players. Game gets service players, right? Then variable for the tween service. So local TS is equal to game get service tween service. Create a variable for the user input service is equal to game get service user input service, right? Then we're gonna wait. I just had a great video idea. Anyway, okay, moving on. So then we're gonna create a variable for our core mode event. So core event is equal to game that replicated storage wait for child core event. Then we're gonna create a variable for our local player. So player is equal to game dot players local player. And then lastly, we're gonna create a variable for the core GUI. Like I said, a lot of variables. wait for child, core GUI, right? Then we're going to update the image and stuff. Like I said, we're gonna update the image and stuff upon the player joining. It's honestly real cool. We're gonna say core GUI.info frame dot player image text label. You're gonna say dot image is equal to PS the player service. You're gonna say get user thumbnail async, right? Then you're gonna need to put in the player's user ID, comma, then enum dot thumbnail type, and then you're gonna say headshot. I mean, you can choose another one if you want to, but the game uses just their headshot. So plus I sized it just for their headshot, not their full body. Then enum dot thumbnail size. Again, you guys can mess around with different sizes, but I'm just gonna do 48 by 48. And then if you want to test it real quick to make sure it works, looks pretty cool. Just press play. You'll see it has a headshot of the player and stuff. So pretty cool, right? Okay. So now we're gonna move on to setting up the what's it called? The health and the stamina system and stuff, right? So pretty much we're going to make it so that whenever our health or stamina values, which we're going to create on the server script, are changed, these bars as well as these numbers will change, right? So we're going to say player dot health amount. Again, this is a value we're going to create on the server side once we get to the server script. You're going to say dot changed, connect function, close parentheses, enter, right? Then you're going to set up the health tween. You're going to say health tween is equal to ts create. Then you're going to say core GUI.info frame dot health, or sorry, dot current health text label. Make sure you don't confuse the two. Comma tween info dot new. You're going to put the duration here. You can put however much time you want. I'm just going to put 0.2 seconds. Then enum dot easing style. Again, choose whatever easing style you want. I'm just going to put linear. Then, oh my bad. Enum dot easing direction out. Choose whatever direction you want. And then we're going to put a comma between parentheses, then special brackets for the property table. We're going to say size is equal to, this is why I said it was important that you get this, you just do the same sizing as me, right? udm2.new. Then you're going to say 0, comma, keep in mind, all I'm doing here, if you're confused, all I'm doing, right? So first I'm adjusting the size, just so people know, I'm adjusting these bars, right? Adjusting these bars. You'll notice for current health, right? Well, actually, they're both the same. They're both the same size, but you'll notice, right? It's currently 100 by 25. So we're just simply going to update the x value. So we're going to say player dot health amount dot value, right? That simple. So we're just going to update that, and of course the y value remains the same because we don't need to we don't need it to go up or down, just left to right. Then after that, right, you're going to play the health tween. We're going to say health tween play. Then you're going to update the number, so the numerical value. So core GUI, we're going to update this value right here. Core GUI dot info frame dot health text label dot text is equal to player dot health amount dot value dot quotation marks, put a slash. Then you're going to put whatever the maximum amount of health is in your game. So for me, I'll do 100. The great news is to do the stamina system, all we have to do is just copy and paste this. Let's save ourselves some time. So copy or control C. Then Control V or paste at the top left. Then all you're gonna do is just change this to stamina amount. We're just gonna make some slight changes and we'll be done quick. Rename the variable to stamina tween. Control C, Control V. Then of course change this to current stamina text label. You're gonna go over here and then you're just gonna change this to stamina amount. That value, because remember they're the same sizes. Then you come down here, stamina text label, right? And then stamina amounts that value, and again whatever your max out of whatever your maximum stamina is for your game. Then after that we're going to create a variable called running is equal to false. So this is setting up the sprinting system. This is setting up the sprinting system as well as like the stamina system and stuff, right? So that players can sprint, and then if they sprint it'll take away what's it called, it'll take away some of their stamina once they have no stamina or they've released the shift key. They'll stop running stuff, then they'll start regenning. So we'll first create a function, local function is equal to stamina regen. We'll set up so that players can regen stamina, close parentheses, enter. So we're going to set up a while loop, so while not running, so while the player is not running, right? So while not running, you know what, let me do something. Let me throw an and in there, right? While not running, and player dot stamina amount dot value is less than 100, So what pretty much again whatever your max is and stuff. So if it's less than 100, that's perfect, right? Then we're going to increase it by so stamina amount value. Now this is very important here. You guys can decide the value, but you have to think logically. I'm gonna put 2. You can put whatever value you want, but you have to think logically here. You cannot put an odd number, right? It has to be an even number. Think about it. If you put 3, for example, right? What's gonna happen is it's gonna go. Let me think real quick. It's gonna go 90, 93, 96, 99, and then it won't go to 100 because wait. Oh no, no, sorry, no. It will go. It'll go over 100. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, it'll go over 100. It'll go to 102, right? So you have to put an even number and stuff. That's all that matters. You just gotta put an even number. If you, assuming your number is even and that you went with 100, right? So we're just gonna say plus equal to and then simply, I don't think I really need this if statement anymore. I had an if statement to check to see if we went over it. We'll add it just in case as a precaution and stuff, but because it checks to see if they have max stamina, we'll just add it just in case. We'll say if player dot stamina amount dot value is greater than or equal to 100. So again, whatever your max is, then you'll just set it to whatever the max is for your game is equal to 100, and then you'll break the loop, right? Then after that, of course, we got to add a task that wait. So I'm going to put 0.5 seconds. Obviously, you can adjust this and stuff. There's nothing you have to think about here. It's completely up to you and stuff like this. You actually have to think about this. You don't. This is literally just the duration in between like stamina regen and stuff. How many seconds have to pass before a player can regen? +2 stamina or however much, right? Then we're done with the Then just like that, we are done with the regen function. Now we can get into the actual sprinting system. So we're going to say UIS that input began, connect function in parentheses, put input, comma, processed. Enter, you're going to say if input.user input type is equal to enum.user input type keyboard and not process, which pretty much means the player is not typing in chat. Enter, you'll then say if input.keycode is equal to enum.keycode. I'm going to put left shift. You can put whatever your shift keybind or whatever your sprinting keybind is, I should say. Enter, and then you'll adjust the player's walk speed. So I'll say player.character.humanoid dot walk speed is equal to 32 and stuff. Again, up to you guys. And then obviously we'll set running because the player is now running is equal to true, right? You'll say while running. So while running is same thing. While running is equal to true. While the player is running, then you'll just do the opposite of what we did in the regen function. Player.stamina amount.value is less than equal to 2, right? Then you'll say if player dot stamina amount dot value is greater than or equal to 0 and stuff. So this is just as a like again another. We're literally doing the exact same thing, just the opposite and stuff, right? So if it, let's say some magical way it went to like a negative number, then you would, okay, wrong thing. How am I gonna do that? Let's say, is that I did put 2 M's by mistake. Anyway, so let's say it magically went to a negative number, then you would just reset it back to 0. So stamina amount dot value is equal to 0, right? And then you would make it so that the player can no longer run stuff because they're out of stamina. So humanoid dot walk speed will be set to whatever the default walking speed is. Then running, they're no longer running. Then you would begin the stamina regen function, right? Because they ran out of stamina and stuff. Then obviously we're going to take away stamina every half second, but again, up to you guys for how I'm going to do it. Then we're going to set up the input ended function. So, okay, this right here, this is for when the player runs out of stamina, but we also need to account for if a player starts running, then they voluntarily decide to stop running themselves, right? So UIS that input ended, connect function in parentheses, put input, comma, process. You guys already know what we're doing. Enter if input.user input type is equal to enum.user input type.keyboard and not processed. If input.keycode is equal to enum.keycode, left shift, right? Then we're just going to say enter. Then we're going to, of course, reset their walk speed. So humanoid.walk speed is equal to 16. Again, whatever the default is in your game. Running is set to false because they no longer want to run, and then we will begin the stamina regen function, right? So there's two instances of when we need to begin the stamina regen function. Now we're done with the stamina system, right? We're now going to get on to the like round stuff. So it's like when let's say when like, okay, enough players have joined the server, and now we can begin the round countdown to wait to see if like, okay, like the round is starting in however much time, or the round has begun and this is how much time is left in the round, right? So we can display that to the player and then just double checking to make sure we're good, right? So we're going to create a variable called break, my bad, break loop is equal to false. So we'll just have this as a precaution in case for situations where we need to break the loop. Let's say you need two players to start a game. One person joins the game and another person joins. You have two people, but then the countdown begins. Then one of the players leaves. You obviously need to be able to break the loop so that it can like go back to waiting for more players and stuff, right? So that it doesn't start just because there were two players, because there currently are not two players in the server, right? So you'll then say wrong thing, core event, client event, connect function, in parentheses put event type, comma arg1, comma arg2, short for argument number 1 and argument number 2. These are just pieces of data information that we're sending from the server to the client. So enter. He'll say if event type is equal to quotation marks, you're going to put round, enter. So round is just like round information, whether it be, okay, the round's gonna start if we have enough players by the time the countdown is done, or if they're right, or round has started, and it's currently in progress. So you're then going to create a variable called a round type. This is pretty much round event type, I should say. So arg1, right? You're going to say if round type is equal to start, just to clarify something, right? This does not mean the round is starting. This is, I probably should have named this something else, but this is when the countdown has begun to like, okay, in 45 seconds, the round will start if we have enough players. That's what this is, just to clarify. So then create a variable for duration. This is how much time, this is how you spell duration. Duration is equal to arg2. This is how much time left until the round starts, right? So then you'll say core GUI dot round frame, or sorry, wait, I think that was the wait, what did I do? Wait, round. Oh yeah, round frame. Dot round text label dot text is equal to, then you'll put round starts in. You put round starts in. Then we use a for loop. We'll say for I is equal to duration. So this is where we're gonna start. This is where we're gonna end, and then this is the modifier. If you didn't understand what that just meant. So let's say 45 seconds the round starts, right? This is duration, right? So it's going to start, it's going to count down from 45, right? It'll stop once it reaches the number 0, and then it'll change by -1, right? So it'll go 45, 44, 43, 42, and etc. If you wanted it to go like 0 to 45, then you would switch these. You would do like 0, then 45 here, and then this would just be, you would just, I don't believe you need to do this. Yeah, you don't, yeah, you would just have just a regular one, but yeah. So enter, right? And then first thing first, you're going to go ahead and check to see if break loop is equal to true. So if break loop is equal to true, enter, you'll say core GUI dot round frame. This pretty much means that it was a scenario I described. There were enough players when the countdown initially started, but now there's not. So you'll say round frame dot round text label dot text is equal to waiting for more players dot dot dot, right? Then it'll say core GUI dot round frame dot countdown text label dot text is equal to nothing, so there's blank quotation marks. Then break loop is equal to false and stuff, so that we can reset it back to normal. Then don't break, so it breaks us out of the loop, right? Gets us out of the loop. Then you're gonna go after the for I loop, so you're just gonna skip two, or sorry, not skip two ends. You're gonna skip you're gonna skip one end. Sorry, you're gonna skip one end. And then, so assuming that, it doesn't want us to break out of the loop, which means the countdown is still in progress, you're going to continue to update it. So round frame dot countdown text label dot text is equal to I, right? And then, of course, we're going to do task dot wait 1 second, right? Because, it'll be 1 second in between each, right? Then you're going to skip that end, and then you're going to say else if round type is equal to clear, which this pretty much just means like so this, right, the break loop is going to be triggered by this and stuff. All you're gonna do is just set break loop equal to true, right? So we're gonna fire the remote event this to tell them to clear and stuff. So it's like, okay, the round was gonna start, now it's no longer gonna start. So once we set this variable's value equal to true, Once it's iterating through, it'll check this. Once it sees it's true, it'll end the countdown and stuff, right? Then we'll throw another else if. We'll say else if. Now this is going to be in progress round. So this is when the round has officially started. So you're going to say in progress, right? Enter again with the duration variable. So duration is equal to R2, right? Then after that, you're going to say core GUI dot round frame dot round text label dot text is equal to round ends in, right? Then you're going to do the same thing with the for loop. You can really just copy and paste this to save yourself some time. So just go back up here, Control C, Control V, right? So it's like the same concept. Duration 0, -1. If break loop, then you'll change the text to you can change the text to round starting soon. Because assuming I mean, I would assume. I mean, you could really. This message can say whatever you want, whether it be round starting soon or waiting for more players and stuff. But I'm assuming if it ends, then it's just gonna start another round soon. But so this all remains the same, but we're gonna need to make some modifications here. So obviously, we don't want to have it like at 180 seconds and counting down. Let's say it's 3 minutes per round. We don't want to do 180, 179, 100. Like no, we want to do 2 minutes and then the 30 seconds on the whatever kind of thing we have. So we're going to need to format it, right? So we're going to create a variable called minutes. We're going to say is equal to math.floor, right? And we're going to say I, because that's I starting at the duration stuff, right? So we're going to say we're going to divide this. We're going to say I divide, sorry, not a comment. I divided by 60 because 60 seconds is in 1 minute. Then we're going to do seconds. Seconds is equal to I'm going to take the reciprocal of 60. Then we're going to get the time. We're going to say time is equal to string dot format, right? Here, so you're going to format it. You're going to say % 0 to D colon % again 0 to D, right? And then you're going to wrap these in parentheses. Or wait, no, sorry, not parentheses, quotation marks, right? Then you're gonna say comma, minutes, seconds, so that it formats it, and then you're just going to update it. So instead of setting countdown text label dot text equal to I, you're gonna say equal to time, right? And then just like that, we are done with the local script, right? Now we can move on to the server script and stuff, and then how we're good. See, we're already 40 minutes in. This is why I was gonna break it up into two parts. Okay, so server script service plus icon server script. Thankfully though, guys, we're not going to spend too much time around server script. It's like the server script is like it's like 1/3 as much code as this. So rename the script to core script and parentheses put server. Delete print hello world. Create two variables. First, create a variable for our remote event. Core events is equal to game, the replicated storage, wait for child, core events. Then create a variable for round started, which of course by default will be set to false. You'll set up the first function, which will be start round, right? Close parentheses. Enter, of course, you'll fire, make sure you do all clients. In quotation marks, you want to put round. That's the name of the event, comma, and then we're starting, as the name implies, comma, and then here you're going to put your duration. So let's say 45 seconds. You could set this to 20 seconds, 10 seconds. It doesn't really matter. It's up to you guys. Just make sure you're consistent. Then we will say, like, make sure you're consistent. Here's what I mean. We're going to use a for loop. We're going to say is equal to 45. Don't say you want 20 seconds, but then you leave this as 45. These need to match, right? So 45, comma 0, comma -1, right? Enter. First, we're going to get the number of players, right? So we're going to say, oh, my bad. We're going to say number of players is equal to the pound sign or hashtag game that players get children, right? And that'll give us the number of players in the server. Then we'll say if number of players is less than 2. Again, you guys can change this to whatever you want. I'm pretty much saying there needs to be a minimum of 2 players in the server and stuff for a match to start. But if y'all want it to be like 3 or 4, then you would just put that, right? So if there's less than 2, which means like there were enough for the round to start, but then somebody left, right? Then we're going to fire the remote event, fire all clients, quotation marks, round, then here's the clear when I was talking about clear. Then you're going to set round started equal to false so that it can start again, and then you're going to break us out of the loop, right? Then afterwards, you're going to say if I is equal to 0, oh my bad, is equal to 0, enter, which means the round is ready for the round to start. So we need to choose a killer, which means we need to randomize, right? So we're going to say, we're going to create a variable for a username list, right? So it's equal to special brackets, and then we're going to insert every username of the player insert the name of each player currently inside the server or in the server. So for IV in pairs, game.players, get children, enter. I don't know why that's capital. Then you're just going to say table.insert username list, comma, v.name, right? So now we have a list with all the players in it. Then you're going to choose a random number, right? This is how we're going to choose our killer. Random number, because it's going to be randomized, is equal to math.random. Obviously, it's going to be between, there's going to be between 1 and however many players there are currently in the server. So game.players, get children. So let's say if there are 5 players, it'll choose a number between 1 to 5. If there are 7 players, 1 to 7. That's simple, right? Then we'll get our random username by doing username list, regular bracket, then you'll throw a random number in there, right? And then that's how we'll get our username. And then now we have our killer, which is equal to game.players, find first child, or random username, right? Then we'll set the killer stuff first. We'll say killer.team is equal to game.teams.killer, right? Then we'll say killer.character. We'll go ahead and move them. So we'll say pivot to. Then in parentheses, you're going to put workspace.killerspawn.cframe, right? Then now you'll do the same, but for the survivor. So another for I loop. So for I be in pairs, game. I don't know why I keep doing capital. Players get children, enter. Then you're just going to use an if statement. You're going to say if v.name, just got to double check to make sure it is obviously not the killer. So you could say is not equal to, you could just say random username because that's the username of the killer. So as long as it's not equal to that, then you will say v.team is equal to game.teams.survivors, and then you say v.character or colon pivot to workspace.survivor spawns cframe, right? Then you will skip 2 ends. You will fire the remote event, core events, fire all clients, quotation marks round, comma, in progress. Then send over how long the round lasts. So we'll say 180 seconds, which is 3 minutes, right? And then we're done with that. We're done with that first function. Now onto the second one. So, wait, I think I'm forgetting something. I am forgetting something. I forgot to put the test.waits. Okay, so this is the beginning of our for. So right here. So just go right there. Task.wait 1 second. There we go. Then let me just put a space right there. Then there we go. Because if I close that, it's inside. Just make sure it's inside. Yep, there we go. Okay. All right. So then moving on to the second thing, we're going to say game.players. Player added connect function in parentheses put PLR just for the player who joined, enter. Now we're going to create those values I was talking about. So first up we have our health amount, which is of course going to be a number value. So health amount name is equal to health amount. So keep track of how much health the player currently has. Health amount dot value, again, set it to whatever your default health is in your game. So I'll say 100. Health amount dot parent, we'll parent it to the player. Then let's save ourselves some time. Select it, Control C, Control V. Then just rename this to stamina amount. And then just copy and paste it all over the place. Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V, and Control V. Once again, the default will be 100, but you can set it to whatever you want. Then we will say player.character added connect function in parentheses put character, enter, right? So we're gonna first function will be updating the health. So we'll say character.humanoid.health changed, right? Connect function. So whenever the player's health changes, we will update the health amount value. So we will say player.health amount dot value is equal to character.humanoid.health, right? There's that function. Then we will make it so that whenever they die, it resets their team to spectator and stuff, right? So I'm pretty sure there's no way for you to kill the killer in this game and stuff, right? Um, but let's say if a survivor dies, then it'll reset their team to survivor, and then they'll respawn back at the survivor spawn. I'm sorry, it'll reset a survivor's team to spectator, and then they'll respawn at the spectator's team, right? So if you like, let's say you want to end a round, you could just kill everybody, and then it'll just trigger this function. So character, the humanoid that died, connect function, close parentheses, enter. Then you'll simply just say player.team is equal to game.teams spectators, right? Then you'll skip two ends, and then you'll say if not round started, so pretty much when the player joined, if that round started, enter to check to see if there's enough players to start. So again, with number of players is equal to £, game.players get children, right? And you'll say if number of players is greater than one, or again, however much, whatever your minimum is, right? Enter, round start is equal to true. Then you'll trigger the start round function. Okay, so this is all we have so far. As you guys can see, that took us like 40 minutes. That's why I'm breaking it up into multiple parts. If y'all want a part two, this is why. And stuff. We're not doing much gameplay. Just really a lot of the background stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and publish and let's test to make sure everything works as expected. We can go ahead and do test, and then we'll just do like 2 players. So start, as always, if you guys want access to any one of my scripts or models, you guys can become either a channel member or a Discord subscriber. Link to either one of those options can be found in the description. Highly recommend that and stuff. Okay, so we're in. As you guys can see, we have on both sides, we have the round starts countdown and stuff. Okay, now if you're wondering why we don't have the profile picture, it's because like we're testing. These aren't actual players, right? Like this is a test. These aren't actual real people instead of actual real accounts. That's why there's no profile picture and stuff. So if you were concerned about that, don't worry. That's normal and stuff, right? I'll show you guys how we can test that when we're done. So the round should start, right? And as you can see, we're automatically on the spectators team, right? So once it's done, what it should do is it'll randomly choose one of us to be the killer, and then it'll move the killer over to the red spawn, and then whoever's the remaining person will be the survivor, and it'll move them to the survivor spawn. As you guys can see, there we go. Okay. I'm the survivor, move me over. He's the killer, moved into the killer spawn. Round ends in, and then we have our countdown, right? And then, oh, I forgot to test. Okay, now let's test our health, right? So we can actually go back here. So you can just go back to your game, right? Then you can just clean up, right? So to get rid of all that greatness. So if you click play, you'll see what I mean now, right? It works. It's just when you test because those aren't actual players. So now we can test the health and stamina system. So let's test stamina first. So if I hold shift, as you guys can see, I'm running faster. It's decreasing and stuff as I hold shift, right? And the bar is moving and stuff. So I'm just going to continue to hold shift until we get to 0. And then what should happen is once it reaches 0, once I run out of stamina and stuff, it should automatically stop me from sprinting, and it'll reset my walk speed back to the default of 16 and stuff. So we'll see, and there we go, right? I'm back to running by default and stuff. Now I can hold shift. If I let go of shift, it'll start regenerating stamina and stuff. Now it'll just start regenerating and stuff, increasing by 2. Now what should happen is it'll keep going, it'll keep increasing and stuff. Obviously if I start running again, it'll decrease, but once I stop, it'll increase, and it should increase back to 100. That should not go over 100. We will see in a second. 92, 94, 96, 98, 90, and there we go. Okay, now we're back to max. Now let's check our health. So switch to the server side, find your character, humanoid. Let's update our health to like 50. Let's say like 59 or something. Then go to the client side. As you can oh my. Oh my. I forgot about that. Oh, well, as you guys can see, it does work. As my health is regenerating and stuff, it does work and stuff. I'm regenerating my health as we speak, and the bar is adjusting accordingly. The only problem is the rounding. I forgot to round that. Go to the health function, which was at the top. It was the first function we made. So this we're just gonna need to round this. So we're just gonna just say math.round, right? And then you're just gonna throw in the player.health amount.value. So Control C, Control V, and then just put it in the parentheses. So yeah, I should round it. Now if we click play, and then let's do the same thing. It should just round it. So health. I'll do the same thing. we'll just, okay, where's health? We'll say 59 again. Then it should just be a whole number. Yeah, there we go. Now it's just a whole number, right? There we go. So yeah, everything works so far. If you guys enjoyed part one, you guys already know. You guys already know the drill. Just definitely leave a like, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. If you guys want a part two, show the video lots of love. Let me, leave some comments and stuff that you guys want a part two and whatever else you guys want to see in the series. I hope you guys enjoyed the series so far. If you enjoy, do like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.